What's up, my brothers and my sisters from another mister? Today we're going to do a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 337, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. While Sin's invasion of Omega Island starts to crumble, Al is betrayed by one of the few people he ever considered a friend. So we begin this issue in the past. This event takes place prior to Spawn 333. Medieval Spawn goes up to Spawn in the alleyway while Spawn's handling business. He tells Spawn that he brings him a message that there's a plot against you. A team led by Jim Downing is being built to move against you, Spawn. He wants the Deadzones. He's recruiting more, but so far his only member is Mark Rosen, whose body I've been using as a host. I'm able to access his memories. Spawn is pissed about this because he trusts Mark, but in previous events, Mark did this for his own reason because he wanted to see what Jim Downing was all about. So Spawn tells Medieval Spawn, find out who else Downing is recruiting. Meanwhile, Spawn goes to Hunt and tells him, hey, remember back then you asked to be useful? Well, here's your chance. If Downing approaches you for whatever reason, I want you to accept his offer. And Hunt's brother in spirit tells him, well, Downing might actually be able to help us find a cure for that poison that's in your suit. And Spawn's like, nah, he's not gonna do that. If he was gonna do that, you would have joined him by now if that were true. So Hunt is like, why not just call the Scorch on all this if you're asking us for reinforcements? So Spawn's like, nah, this ain't big enough. Someone else behind Downing is running things, and I need to draw them out in the open by letting myself get caught. You'll be my backup when that happens. And one other thing, Mark Rosen already joined him. So now, Spawn had already known his plan was going to be risky. In preparation though, he tried factoring every potential complication he could think of. The reappearance of Nyx had not been one of them. Her return blindsided him, and now he risks losing everything. After venturing deep into Spawn's mind, Nyx uncovered the secret locations where Spawn hid the power to control all 14 Deadzones scattered around the world. 2 minutes ago, Nyx had teleported away, saying that she was going to start unlocking these Deadzone locations. And seconds from now, control of these Deadzones will be determined as Spawn's group battles Downing's new recruits, and they go at it. And this is a pretty good looking panel right here. Every moment Downing can delay Spawn in pursuing Nyx inches him closer to attaining his ultimate goal, which is to open up the Deadzones. Medieval tells Spawn to leave and get out of here. Hans and I will deal with the things over here. You need to stop Nyx, and Spawn does that. Thousands of miles away, Sin's plan lies in tatters. Blood's vampires had made up the bulk of his forces, and now without them, the battle has turned into a massacre. Anyone who could have fled has done so already. Those remaining know Clown won't take prisoners, and though their efforts are ultimately doomed, they fight with the determination to kill as many foes as they can. This scientist gives a report to Clown. Reports are coming in from across the island. We've retaken the Easter, and Clown ain't trying to hear all that. All he wants to know is the latest on Sin and the Forsaken, and all the scientists can tell him is, well, the cameras have been incinerated, we can't locate them. But during their battle, Forsaken tells Sin, you better surrender, and he looks like he has the upper hand. You thought you could take the throne without me? And Sin's like, I did what you would have done, little brother. God favored your offerings over mine. I was jealous, but I never meant to kill you. I've carried that guilt for a millennia. And that was back when, in Spawn issue 331, when it was revealed that Cogs was Cain. And Forsaken ain't trying to hear all that. So Sin tells him, look, I don't expect you to change your mind, but before you kill me, I want your forgiveness. And Forsaken's like, you dare? Forgiveness? Not after thump or whatever whatever happens over here. Turns out Cataclysm shanked him in his neck. You dare touch me, demon? Sin knows there's but a brief window in which to strike. Gathering all the remaining power he's stolen from Spawn and the other hell spawns the last few months, he unleashes it. As he drags his weary body from the ground after knocking Abel a mile across the island, Sin doubts that'll be the last time he sees his brother. He's coming back again. Cataclysm asks him if he's okay, and Sin's like, yo man, I'm good. So Cataclysm tells him Blood abandoned us. Without his army, I doubt we'll be able to hold out much longer. And Sin is pissed. He'll pay for this betrayal. Let's focus on reaching the fissure. And it's not far from here, says Cataclysm. Most of Clown's forces are preoccupied with their fighting, and Sin's like, good, that will allow us time to get there first. In the past minutes, Spawn has visited 13 of his secret locations, each stop lasting seconds, as he goes about reclaiming the fragments of power he's hidden at each space. The first 5 locations were untouched, leading him to wonder, did he overestimate Nyx? Then he found out that one has been compromised, then another. and another, and now he arrives at the final location. Almost half of the dead zones are no longer under his control. This needs to stop, Nyx. You won't be able to control the dead zones even if you could find a way to unlock them. Only I can do that. Not anymore, Al, says Nyx. It's too much power for one person. You just won't accept that. Because I know what's coming. They'll all try and enter. Everyone trapped here, and on the other side, they all talk about this black beast. And that's a reference to Batman Spawn, which we did cover. I'll put the card at the end of this video and also link in description as well. Spawn warns her, you try this, you'll die all over again. Take that as a warning. And that's a reference to Spawn issue number 299 or 300. We definitely cover that at the playlist, and I'll put the playlist of all the Spawn issues we covered in the beginning as well as the current playlist as well. I'm not sure what issue that is, but I believe it's 299, 300, or 301, something like that. Yeah, what angers Spawn the most is that after all these years, he still allows himself to feel betrayed. Nyx was different, at least she was supposed to be, as she was one of the few that had actually believed him. She goes into the portal, but she's changed since her resurrection. Spawn wonders if it's really her actions or someone who's influencing Nyx. Her eyes, though, tell him that Nyx is in full control of herself, but in the back of his mind, he knows they're both navigating a life that can take its toll on all of them. Now, as dawn breaks on Omega Island, these clowns found forsaken, but Sin is gone. Clown gives them the order to hunt Sin down and make sure he doesn't reach that fissure. And Cataclysm's like, yo man, I hear Clown's men coming, we need to act quick. And Sin's not worried about it. He knows they'll be in the outer dimension in no time, and after all that, this will mean nothing to them. So they're there. And before I go any further, if you're liking the content so far, you know what to do. Like the video and subscribe to this channel. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. So once they reach the fissure, Sin tells Cataclysm, you've proven your loyalty today. And Sin tells her, and once I sit on the throne of hell, I will ensure that your loyalty is well rewarded. Clown's forces arrive in the chamber moments later to find the fissure sealed is shut. Sin and Cataclysm have left the world of men far behind by that point. Even after many decades away, Sin still recognizes it immediately. The barren edges of the ninth realm, the furthest point one could be from the throne, while still standing in hell. The end of the first leg of Sin's journey. Let's get moving, says Sin. There's still a long way to go. Now in this panel, Haunt and Medieval Spawn give a report to Spawn. Haunt tells him, Downing and the others just bolted once you were gone. And Spawn thinks, well, okay, they must have received the signal from Nyx, right? And Spawn's like, well, perhaps so, but what about our deal? You made a deal with me. And Spawn tells him, give me a day or two, we'll reconnect on that. So Medieval Spawn asks Spawn, what plans do you have with the base? And Spawn's like, I'm not sure. It depends whether there's anything worth salvaging. Well, says Medieval Spawn, it may be worth speaking to Mark. He might have information about this place that I don't have access to. Should I manifest him? No, says Spawn. I don't need Mark ever again. If you read the previous issues, Spawn feels betrayed by Mark and he is pissed. So we conclude this issue with Jim Dowling observing that Nyx is angry. And don't be so hard on yourself. You took control of half the dead zones, and that's huge. And Nyx is like, look, I could have had them all, and I should have realized Al would have hit the power in different locations. And Jim tells you, look man, there's going to be other opportunities to get the rest, but we lost our element of surprise, says Nyx. Maybe, says Jim Downing, but the fact is there's 7 less dead zones to worry about, and their powers will be more secure here. If anyone wants to try to take them, they'll have to fight their way through the green world first. And that's where we end this issue of Spawn, issue number 337. What you guys think of this comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Lastly, don't forget to check out RatedComics.com if you wish to add any of our really cool Rated Comics exclusives to your comic book collection. They're definitely worth adding to your comic book collection. Now, one thing I like to highlight with this issue is I know before Nyx was a good ally of Spawn and considered her friend, but I love how situations could definitely turn that against one another, and they each have their own reasons for that. That's definitely what I enjoy about this issue the most. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Until next time.